Welcome to the episode of Mom Power Talk. I'm Sarah, and I'm thrilled to be here with you today.
And I'm Emma. Today's episode is all about real-life stories from moms just like us. We're diving deep into the personal journeys of motherhood, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. We're so excited to share these stories with you.
Motherhood is a journey unlike any other. It's filled with joy, challenges, and countless lessons. Today, we're focusing on those personal stories that often go untold, the ones that shape us as mothers and as women.
Yes, and what better way to explore this than by sharing our own experiences and those of other incredible moms? We hope that by opening up these conversations, we can all feel a little more connected and a lot more empowered. Sarah, why don't you kick things off by sharing a bit about your journey into motherhood?
Absolutely. I became a mom about 5 years ago, and to say it was life changing is an understatement. Before having my daughter, I was all about my career. I was focused on climbing the corporate ladder and was living life in the fast lane. But when I found out I was pregnant, everything shifted.
How did you balance the transition from a career-driven life to becoming a mom?
Honestly, it wasn't easy. I struggled a lot in the beginning. I felt like I had to choose between being a good mother and continuing my career. There were days when I felt like I was failing at both, but then I realized that being a good mom didn't mean sacrificing my dreams. It meant finding a new balance and redefining what success looked like for me.
That's so powerful. I think a lot of moms can relate to that feeling of trying to juggle multiple roles. How did you eventually find that balance?
It took time, but I started setting boundaries and prioritizing my mental health. I learned to delegate more at work and lean on my support system at home. I also started embracing the idea that it's okay to ask for help. Once I stopped trying to do it all, I found that I could actually do more. Emma, your journey into motherhood is a bit different. You became a mom at a younger age, right?
Yes, I had my first child when I was 23. It was a huge surprise, and I wasn't prepared at all. I was still figuring out who I was as a person, and suddenly, I had this tiny human depending on me for everything.
That must have been overwhelming. How did you cope with that sudden change?
It was overwhelming, but it also forced me to grow up fast. I had to put my own dreams on hold for a bit while I focused on being a mom. But over time, I realized that becoming a mother didn't mean losing myself. It just meant that my dreams had to evolve alongside my new responsibilities.
What was the biggest challenge you faced as a young mom?
I think the hardest part was dealing with the judgment from others. People assumed that because I was young, I wouldn't be a good mother or that I wouldn't be able to handle the responsibilities. But I used that doubt as motivation to prove them wrong. I worked hard to build a life for my child and me, and now, looking back, I'm so proud of how far we've come.
That's such an inspiring story, Emma. It's a reminder that there's no one right way to be a mom and that everyone's journey is unique.
We also reached out to some of our listeners who shared their own stories with us. Here's one from Lisa, a single mom who decided to start her own business after her divorce.
Lisa said that becoming a single mom was one of the toughest things she ever went through, but it also gave her the strength to start her own business. She wanted to create a better life for her kids and show them that it's never too late to chase your dreams. Now, she's running a successful online boutique and is more empowered than ever.
I love that. It's amazing how motherhood can push us to do things we never thought possible. Another story we received was from Michelle, who shared how she overcame postpartum depression with the help of her family and a supportive community of moms.
Michelle's story is so important because it highlights the struggles that many moms face but don't often talk about. She said that opening up about her feelings and seeking help was the best decision she made. It not only helped her heal, but also allowed her to be the best mom she could be for her child. These stories remind us that motherhood is a journey filled with twists and turns. It's not always easy, but it's through these challenges that we find our strength.
Absolutely. And I think the key takeaway from today's episode is that every mom's journey is valid. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom, a working mom, a single mom, or anything in between, your story matters.
And by sharing our stories, we can help each other feel less alone and more empowered. So, to all the moms listening, know that you're doing an amazing job and your journey is unique and valuable. One of the things that came up a lot in the stories we received was mom guilt. I think it's something every mom experiences at some point, whether it's guilt about going back to work, taking time for yourself, or even just feeling like you're not doing enough. It's always there, nagging at the back of your mind.
Mom guilt is so real. I remember feeling guilty the first time I left my baby with a sitter so I could have a night out with friends. I kept thinking, what if something happens? What if she needs me? It was hard to shake that feeling.
It's a tough balance. On one hand, we want to be there for our kids all the time, but on the other hand, we also need to take care of ourselves. I've learned that it's okay to put yourself first sometimes, and that doesn't make you a bad mom.
Exactly. It's important to remember that taking care of yourself makes you a better mom. When you're happy and fulfilled, you have more to give to your children. Another theme that came up in our listener stories was the importance of finding your mom tribe, a group of moms who understand what you're going through and who can offer support and encouragement.
I can't stress enough how important it is to have that support system. When I first became a mom, I felt so isolated. It wasn't until I joined a local moms group that I started to feel like I had a community. These women became my lifeline.
I had a similar experience. It's amazing how much better you feel when you know you're not alone. Whether it's an online community or a group of moms in your neighborhood, having people to lean on can make all the difference.
And it's not just about emotional support, it's also about practical help. Sharing tips, swapping babysitting duties, and just having someone to talk to who understands what you're going through can be incredibly helpful. Let's talk about the role of partners in motherhood. Whether it's a spouse, a co parent, or another supportive figure, having a partner who shares the load can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. My husband has been incredibly supportive, but it took us a while to find our rhythm. In the beginning, I felt like I had to do everything because I was the mom, but over time, I realized that it's okay to ask for help and that parenting is a team effort.
That's such a good point. I think sometimes we feel like we have to be super mom and do it all, but that's not sustainable. It's so important to communicate with your partner and share the responsibilities.
And for those who are single moms or don't have a partner, finding that support in other areas like family, friends, or a community can be just as important. You don't have to do it all on your own. We've touched on this a bit already, but let's dive deeper into self-care and mental health. Motherhood is incredibly rewarding, but it can also be exhausting and overwhelming. How do you make sure you're taking care of yourself, Sarah?
Self care has been a journey for me. I used to think it meant just getting a manicure or having a glass of wine after the kids went to bed. But I've realized it's so much more than that. It's about making time for the things that nourish your soul, whether that's exercising, meditating, reading a book, or just taking a quiet moment to yourself.
Yes, and it's also about recognizing when you need help. Postpartum depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues are common, and there's no shame in seeking therapy or counseling. Taking care of your mental health is just as important as taking care of your physical health.
Absolutely. It's okay to ask for help, whether that's from a therapist, a friend, or a family member. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. Let's end on a positive note by talking about celebrating the wins, both big and small. Motherhood can be tough, but it's also full of amazing moments. Sometimes we get so caught up in the day to day grind that we forget to celebrate our successes.
That's so true. It's easy to focus on what didn't go right, the tantrums, the messes, the sleepless nights, but there are also so many beautiful moments to cherish. Whether it's your child's first steps, a successful potty training day, or just getting through a tough day, those are all wins worth celebrating.
I've started keeping a gratitude journal where I write down at least one thing I'm grateful for each day. It's a simple practice, but it helps me stay positive and appreciate the little things.
I love that idea. It's a great way to shift your focus and remind yourself of all the good things in your life. So, to all the moms listening, don't forget to celebrate your wins. You're doing an amazing job, and you deserve to acknowledge that. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope these stories have inspired you and reminded you that you're not alone on this journey.
We'd love to hear your stories too. If you have a story you'd like to share, please reach out to us on our Instagram page. We're all about building a community of strong, empowered moms.
Don't forget to subscribe to Busy Mom for more episodes filled with inspiration, tips, and real life stories. Until next time, keep being the amazing moms that you are.